What's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for tuning back to the channel. In today's video, we are here in the new shop working on the 65 Mustang. If you guys saw in the last video, we pulled the engine out, started tearing that down. Well, things have escalated from there. Basically, we bought another engine. So, let me explain. Roll the intro.
I got crazy thoughts that stay on my mind, but I promise I'm fine. I'm doing alright, and I'm back again.
Okay guys, let me get to explain. Basically, this is the old block here, still has the whole front accessories on, but we pulled the rocker studs out of the heads, as you guys saw. So, the key to that was I needed to buy some new heads, and I needed them stat. So yesterday, I drove 5 hours to Washington, D.C., met some cool guys, saw some cool cars, and bought some new heads. So that's this over here. This is a 97 Ford Explorer engine with the beautiful GT40 heads. So got a nice set of heads. We're gonna rebuild these things. Sorry you can't hear me because of the rain, but basically we got some GT40 heads. I'm gonna finish pulling this engine apart, and then we're gonna save this engine for a future project. Don't know what yet, but we are gonna keep it. But let me get to tearing this thing apart, and talk to you guys in a bit.
With someone you are
Okay guys, so we finished taking apart the engine, and the engine actually looks really good. So looking inside, you can actually see the pistons. There's a little mark in this one, but everything in here is really nice and clean. I'm actually really surprised. But the heads themselves is what we're concerned about. These are 4-bar GT40 P heads. So they actually look like they're in really good shape. Someone took them off and did new gaskets on them, and actually used ARP head studs, which we got. So we have a set of ARP head studs. Plus, honestly, the gaskets on these will look pretty good too. We're not gonna reuse them, but it's on the table. But guys, I bought this engine sight unseen, 5 hours away for 150 bucks. What we're gonna do is take the heads apart, swap the valve springs over from my other heads to these heads, and go from there. So we'll get to doing that. That'll be a long process, which I've done way too many times. But yeah, so I'll put you guys on time lapse and probably start knocking that out. So guys, we got the new heads here. They look freaking insane. The new paint and everything, all new valves, everything's cleaned. Looks fantastic. The only issue is we have a manifold bolt, I noticed here. So what we did, we tried using easy out. It did not work. We broke it off in there. So what we're gonna do is take the grinder wheel and cut a little slit, and then take a flathead and turn it out. And I brought a torch to heat it up. So let's go ahead and do that and see what happens. We're gonna go ahead and start putting the engine back together, slapping the heads on everything. But first we're gonna go ahead and open the gaskets and everything. But when I opened them, I realized we got Felpro. I didn't even know we got Felpro. I just ordered some 32 gaskets. So that's convenient. But in here, we have everything we need. And then some more. So we're not going to be using stuff like rear main seal, but we will be using valve cover gaskets, intake gaskets, and head gaskets. Guys, we're going to go ahead and put this whole engine together. I'm going to put you guys on time lapse, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so we went ahead and put a head on the car, on the engine, and we went ahead and mocked up the exhaust because I'm worried about the fitment. I've been doing a lot of reading about how the GT40 heads, they don't line up with the exhaust quite right, and we might have to switch to a different header. So yeah, I just proved that. Let me show you. If you guys look, I have the header mounted up on this, the stock manifold up on the head here. You guys can see there is no room at all for any of the plugs, especially in, I mean, you might can fit a plug in here, but changing plugs can be a nightmare. What I was reading some people did was trim out some of this extra cast, which, I mean, there is a good bit there, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough or not. So I'm gonna have to look into some different kind of header. Maybe if I can get that shipped in here real quick, but it's not looking good right now. It's not looking good. On the bright side, the engine, the rocker situation is gonna work out great. I'm super excited about it. All the fitment is fantastic. The stock rods I had beforehand fit this perfectly, and I don't think it's gonna rattle. I think it's gonna run fantastic, and these heads should give us a little bit more horsepower. So I'm excited about it, but this is kind of a bummer. So I'm gonna go home, do a bunch of Googling, see what I can find, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay guys, it's been a few days since I've spoken to you, but I've been working on the engine. We finally got the other head situated. We ended up being able to get that intake manifold bolt out, and it was a huge pain, but we were able to save a couple threads, so that's gonna work out fine. As you guys can see, we put the other head on. We got both heads on now, and rockers are on. I'm gonna go back, put this thing back together. We're gonna put the intake on. We might clean it up first, put that on, and then assemble everything else for the most part, and then start working on the manifolds. So let's do it.
Tomorrow.
Okay guys, I want to first apologize. This video has just been all over the place. It's been filmed over the course of like a week as things have progressed. So I've been wearing a different shirt in every little clip. But guys, basically the engine is completely assembled, how it's gonna be for going into the car. But we have some issues. Guys, the spark plug clearance on this side is just not gonna work. It's just gonna be too big of an issue to fix. We clearanced it enough for the time being. If we need to put this car in so it can get painted, we can have clearance enough where we can fit the boots over it. It's gonna be tight though, but you can't take the plugs out with taking the manifold out, and that's simply just not gonna work. An option we do have, what we need to do is go ahead and go with some headers, some long tube headers or some short headers. That'll have a different angle of this, give us clearance for that. The only issue with those headers is they all dump out right here instead of above here. And right here is where the clutch linkage is, the Z-bar and all that. So that's not gonna work if we wanna go with headers that are gonna fit. That's why I was trying to make these work. The other option is go long tube headers. What we're thinking is we're gonna switch to a cable clutch and run long tube headers out of this thing because our transmission is basically shot. Let me show you. So guys, this is the 4-speed that came out of the car. We've been having issues ever since day one with it. Some noises, some creaks, and it's not been a good time. We finally tore it down or took it out of the car, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna test something. I don't know if you guys can see how there's just so much play in this input shaft. That's why it was screaming at us basically every time we drive it. It shifts fun, but some bearings, some stuff is just worn out in that thing. And honestly guys, I'm just kind of tired of messing with that trans. It has been a pain in my side ever since we got the car. Everything is just messed up with it. It sucks. A colossal pain. So I think we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna spend a lot of money basically. But 4 speeds out of here, that's probably for sale if anybody wants to buy it. We're gonna switch to a T5 5-speed if I can pick one up, which basically we will bolt up to this engine. We can keep the same flywheel, same clutch, same throwout bearing and everything. But instead of having to convert that to the Z-bar, which I was gonna do in the first place, we'll just switch it to a cable clutch to the stock T5 bell housing, and then we can able to fit long tube headers that'll run down here. Cable clutch will come to the side. We'll have a 5-speed, short throw shifter, all that fun stuff with GT40 heads, long tube headers, and then everything else is rebuilt. So guys, that is the plan as of now that I'm gonna try and make happen. It really just kind of depends what I can find. I've been looking for T5 trains for the past few weeks, and they're really hard to find. They're really, because only a certain few years work. It's like 87 through 93 are the best years that'll work. So if you guys know one, hit me up, message me on Instagram or something. But that's the plan as of now. Basically, once we can get all that done, I can bolt this all together. We'll put the drivetrain back in the car, make sure it runs, make sure it drives, not even drives. As soon as that's done, this thing is going back to Charlie's house. We're gonna finish up our primer and body work, and then we're gonna paint this thing. And I'm not telling you what color we're painting it. I'm not gonna tell you. But that is the whole plan for this. It really just depends on when we can find parts. We have to order stuff, new, like long tubes, everything. But worst case, we'll get this thing to paint and body with it not done yet, and then worry about it after it's painted. But I'd like to get all the engine drivetrain stuff worked out before we take it to paint, just so we don't have to worry about scratching anything, stuff like that. But guys, that's gonna be a wrap for this episode. Guys, please stay tuned for the next episode. We have something super sick coming. It's got, I don't even want to spoil it. It doesn't have to do with this car. It doesn't have to do with the F100. We're gonna go pick up something new. We're gonna go get a new car next video. So you guys do not want to miss it. It's definitely gonna be one of the coolest, most like, besides buying this car, this is like one of the biggest steps I've ever made in like my life. This is gonna be another one of those like kind of monumental steps that I've always wanted and I've dreamed about for a while. So you guys will see an epic road trip next video. And I'm super excited. We're gonna keep you guys updated on the whole thing. It'll be so sick. But anyway, guys, I love you guys a ton. Thank you guys for watching, and please stay tuned, follow along for all the cool stuff and for the next video, because guys, you do not want to miss it. All right, take care of yourself. Deuces.